You good? All right, thank you all for being here tonight. Welcome you that are here in person, as well as those of you that have joined us on some form of social media. At this time, I'd like to acknowledge that all board members and our student board members are present, and the superintendent. And at this time, I'll call the meeting to order. And if you would, join me for a moment of silence. Thank you very much. If you're able, please stand as we say the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much. You can be seated. This time, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
I'll make the motion to adopt the agenda.
Dr. Lamb made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Hurd seconded. All in favor? Let me know by lifted hand. All board members were in favor. The agenda is adopted. Item 2 is communications, and for recognition, we've got quite a bit of recognitions going on tonight. So for these first 3, I'd like to ask all the board members if you would join me up here. Is first off is you want to share?
Sure. Once we get there, we'll be ready.
Okay.
So we do have a lot of recognitions tonight, and that's great that we have the opportunity to do that. You're going to see, I think, a little bit of the sequencing that will happen. Our first recognition tonight will be in the Garrard High School Marching Band. They competed at state this year, which is kind of a normal. If that doesn't happen, we're a little concerned about what's going on. But then they moved on to nationals this year and participated in Indianapolis. And they everything that they did this year was around Ride the Wave. So if you are with the Garrard County Band, if you'll work your way over here so that the board can recognize you, you guys are welcome to go. So while they're doing this, last month we recognized Mr. Vance as Teacher of the Month. Most of you know that he has decided he's had enough of us, and he's moving on into retirement after this year. So this was his last foray, really, with band. So great way for him to go out and going to nationals. I was fortunate enough to get to go to nationals in Washington this year. They went once before when I was principal at the high school. I got to go to that one. So I can't say they're not allowed to go again. I'll just have to go from whatever capacity I'm in at that time. So congratulations to you. Congratulations to you all. Thanks for representing Garrard County in such a positive way. So our next recognition will continue the idea of national qualifiers. It's from Garrard Middle School, and we had some individuals from JAG who have qualified for nationals. As soon as Sydney's picture done, we'll move on and recognize them. It's a little challenging when we have the numbers that we have, but that's okay. We like it this way. It's a good way to be. So, Mr. Raines will let you have from Garrard Middle School, we've had qualifiers for nationals. In a few minutes, the board will be approving their field trip for them to make a trip to Indianapolis, if I remember correctly. So we'd like to recognize the following individuals tonight for qualifying for nationals. Bethany Sizemore in prepared speaking. Keziah McWhorter, Kara Mead, and Delia Morris for business planning. It's always impressive when you have students who not only succeed at the local level, but move on to the state level and have success there, and now are going to be competing at the national level. Congratulations and best of luck when you make it to nationals. Next, we're going to recognize Odyssey of the Mind. Some of you saw that the door was closed and something different was happening as you arrived today. And that was we were seeing some examples of what goes on with Odyssey of Mind. Students who are part of our Gifted and Talented program have been incredibly successful with that this year. So we're going to recognize 3 different groups from Odyssey of the Mind. We'll start with the middle school first. And the individuals we're about to recognize not only excelled locally, at region, at state, at nationals, they are now headed to worlds. So if you follow the progression of what we've done tonight, we've had people who've been successful at the state and national level and now the international level. And it's going to be a great opportunity for Garrard County to be recognized based on what our students are doing. And that's what all of this is about. So from the middle school, Problem 4, Division 2, Zoe Black, Lena Fuller, and Lillian Russell. This is a team that qualified that chose not to move on to to international level at Worlds, and we totally understand the amount of cost that's involved with that, so it's their decision, and we're happy to support that, but they still qualify. For GMS, Problem 1, Division 2, Bryce Carpenter, William Farrell, Lily Heron, Levi Klutz, and Morgan Netto, and Eli Weaver. This team is an international qualifier, and they are going to Lansing, Michigan, and will be competing May 20th through 24th, I believe. So congratulations, good luck, guys. And then finally from Garrard County High School, Problem 3, Division 3. These are again international qualifiers. Millie Crace, Zen Hacker, Natalie Lane, Jillian Long, Katie Sharp, Ayla Swope, and Olivia Wilson. Many of them are doing other things tonight. So it's not that they don't care about this, they're just representing us in something else. So that's phenomenal. So wish this group the very best, and they were doing a presentation for us earlier. I will share with you that we have learned that normally when schools are competing, it's just a few people who drop in, but the reputation of Garrard County has become so strong that people are showing up and standing room only for their presentations. So pretty impressive. Now they're not great at handling all of the certificates, but we'll let them off with that. That's okay.
Perfect.
Good job.
Next, we'll move into what's a little more traditional for us, and that is our first recognition is the Garrard County Schools Danville Office Equipment Staff Member of the Month. And for April, it's Kathy Cusick. So this is a little different. A few weeks ago, I received an email from a student, and I'm just going to read what the student wrote, okay? Hello, Mr. Stoll. My name is Jasmine Lunsford Johnson. I'm a sophomore at Garrard County High School, and I was talking to Mr. Anderson about how good a bus driver Miss Kathy is. and how she needs a raise or a bonus. He directed me to you. Here's some reasons I feel she is more than qualified for a raise. She not only cares about the students on her bus, I feel as though she cares for the Garrard program. She talks so highly about everything at Garrard. She's always smiling, treats everyone so kindly, no matter the type of day she's having. If you miss the bus at vocational, she'll be back to get you no matter what. She treats every single one of her students as they are her own kids. She treats everyone fairly and is there to help out with stuff in school and out of school. She talks to everyone as they're walking onto the bus and as they're walking off the bus. If a raise is not possible, I'll at least ask that she get some type of recognition for how amazing she is. That can't go unnoticed. She's one in a lifetime. Next is our Whitaker Bank Teacher of the Month, and for April, it is Joy Arnold from Camp Dick Robinson. Mrs. Arnold's been a valued part of the Garrard County school family for many years. She's faced the challenges of not having a home school. Instead, she's been the music teacher for both CDR and LES for several years. And while this has been an adult challenge, she has been allowed to affect twice as many students through her love of music, her love of teaching, and her love of children. Ms. Arnold has provided her students with exceptional experiences in the world of music. Even students who don't know they like music have experienced great fun and enjoyment in her class. Her depth of musical knowledge is second to none, and neither is her enjoyment of sharing that knowledge. Ms. Arnold has not only impacted her students, but her colleagues as well. It's not uncommon or unlikely that you might hear her singing happy birthday to one of her teammates. Just another example of how valuable she's been to our district. Congratulations. And for the Garrard County Farmers National Bank Students of the Month from CDR, Olivia Watts. Olivia is a fifth grader and is a student who consistently demonstrates an unwavering commitment to her work, always giving 100% effort in every task and assignment. Her persistence is evident as she tackles challenges head on, never giving up until she's completed her work to the best of her ability. Beyond academics, she always approaches her peers and teachers with kindness and respect. Olivia's positive attitude and strong work ethic make her a valuable member of the classroom and beyond. Congratulations, Olivia. Next from LES is Araya Gibbons. Is she here? Okay. Well, we'll make sure she gets that. From Paint Lick, Zoe Bryan. We'll make sure she gets hers too. From GMS, Stella Bolton. Stella's an outstanding student. She shows academic excellence, a positive attitude, and she's a natural leader. She also shows kindness and empathy to her classmates, and is a phenomenal person to have as part of the GMS team. Congratulations. And from Garrard County High School, William Blanford. William has worked hard in several of our pathways. He's taken CAD, welding, ag power, and ag construction classes. He's earned 15 hours in dual credit through the ATC program. He's completed all his firefighting training and is working for District 1. He is also signed up to take EMT classes to get his EMT certification. William has also been a great asset to our students by working in the library to repair broken Chromebooks, and he's replaced over 100 light bulbs in the building. I don't know what that says about our light system. Thank you, William, for being the servant leader for GCHS in our community. Congratulations.
All right, item B is site-based decision-making minutes, and I trust my colleagues have had an opportunity to go over those. And which brings us to item C, audience comments. I don't believe we have any audience comments.
No, sir, we do not.
Item D is board member comments. Any board members have anything?
I would like for us to discuss the possibility of making a donation toward the Odyssey of the Mind trip that is being, it's going to be held in May, and quite a bit of expense. And we got the snippet tonight of how well they were doing and how proud that they're going to be on a global stage. And I think it'd be very nice if we as a board supported that.
Yeah, I agree. What do you think?
It's certainly within your parameter of decision to do so. I would just point out to you that you will set a precedent when you do this. And so you may want to preface this by saying these individuals are actually going to an international level of competition. If we get to a spot where we're having to do this 15, 16 times because we're going to the internationals, that'll be a good thing. We'll feel like that's something we ought to feel really proud of. So you certainly can do this. You all mentioned this to me the other day as a possibility. So I've met with Ms. Coffey. She knows that we're considering this. We've also decided that based on what's happened here as a cushion in the future, that we would make that part of a budget process so that there would be some money in place. If you didn't have to use it, we would then take it back in at the end of the year, and we would be not harmed in any way by that. But again, if we have students who succeeded at this level and you want to support them, then the money would already be there for you to do so. So even though that money is not necessarily there in a prepared way this time, we can make it happen. So if you would like to do that.
Did you have a dollar amount in mind?
We've added some around in our discussion, and I believe we actually said $1,000. Is that correct, Mr. Stone?
That's what you mentioned, yes.
$1,000.
Okay, you make a motion.
Yes, I do. I move that we contribute $1,000 to the Odyssey of the Mind international trip.
Okay, Ms. Davis made a motion to contribute $1,000 to Odyssey of the Mind. Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Dr. Lamb seconded. Any discussion?
I think this is quite an accomplishment, and going to the international level, and that's setting us above and beyond the entire state of Kentucky. So that puts us in a unique position. I think we need to honor that.
Okay, anybody else? No other discussion, all in favor, let me know by lifted hand. Motion is carried. Thank you so much, I appreciate that. Item E is superintendent and goals update.
So you should have in your packet some information that you can look at. Some of you had, I think, an opportunity to review this. This is simply a summary of how we have chosen to handle the various meetings that we have inside the district. And what we hope that you will see from this is that there is some intentional planning around this thought process. When we meet at the district level and have discussions, that information then moves down to the instructional leadership team, which is all of our principals and other individuals as well. Then we meet with school leaders. I do direct reports with principals. And in each of these meetings, we're having similar kinds of conversations so that there's connections. Our elementary principals meet together. Our middle high school principals meet together. We have teacher leader meetings that occur in the school level professional learning communities, and then faculty meetings. And as you look through this, what you'll start to notice is that we are trying to align everything so that the work that we do feeds everyone in the same way, that we're not trying to silo or compartmentalize anything along those lines. So we just wanted to share that with you so that you would see the processes that we use. Happy to take any questions that you might have.
Okay, thanks, sir. Anybody have any questions? All right, item 2, bonding potential.
So I'll share your bonding potential with you and talk about a couple of other things. Last month, your bonding potential was $13 million. This month, it's $11,680,000. You'll notice the change in the borrowing rate from 4.1 to almost 5%. It's been a interesting time that we're dealing with right now. We just wanted to share that information with you. And then connected to that, if I can find it, I'll share something else just as a little bit of an update for you. In 2019, your tax rate was 67.5 cents on every $100 worth of value. And that meant that if somebody had $100,000 of assessed value, they were paying $675 to the district. 15 cents from that amount was going into our building fund. Over the last 6 years, you've been able to reduce the tax rate to 62.6 cents on the $100. So instead of $675 for the $100,000, it's now 626. So you've reduced that, but 15 cents of that still goes into the building fund. That amount is always going there because of what we call 3 nickels. And you can see how that totals, each nickel being 5 cents. We're not sharing this as a problem. We're just sharing this to make, hopefully make people more aware of what the process looks like. The process of school funding is not always the most logical. It doesn't always make the most sense to everybody, but if you understand it, it starts to make sense. So we also know that there's some potential issues, and I just showed you that with our bonding capacity. We're not sure what's going to happen in the world of tariffs. And again, we're not saying that there's a problem. We're just saying we want you to know that we pay attention to this. So with the tariff move that has occurred recently, we don't know exactly how that's going to impact construction costs, but we do know that it has impacted bonding rates and may continue to do so. If those tariffs go a different direction, it may impact it in a totally different way. The issue that we have right now is we can't anticipate that. We just have to be ready and be paying attention. So you do have staff who are watching this all the time. Potential challenge number 2, most of you know about some things that have occurred at the federal level where there was some question about federal reimbursements. And that would impact our title funds and could impact our food service. Again, we're not panicked about anything. We just have to pay attention to that. So we have a director of federal programs. That's Dr. Gresham. He pays attention to this kind of information all the time. We have somebody who's director of our food service, and she pays attention to this all the time to try to make sure that we are alert to what's going on. I shared with somebody the other day, if we find out in July that our title funds are cut before we hire people, we might not like it, but we can deal with it. The challenge would happen is if they told us in July everything was good to go, and in December we found out, well, maybe we're not going to reimburse you. That would become a challenge for us. So again, we're simply paying attention. Want to make sure that you're aware of that. Last month we talked about our current construction and we gave you a little bit of an update. I'll point out to you now that it is official. The state has made available for one project only $7.5 million. I think all of you know that that was a gap funding piece. We were hopeful that it would be about 13 million. It's 7.5. I'm sharing your local bonding capacity at about 11.7. That puts us at about $19.2 million that could go into the project for the gym. That doesn't cover the cost of the gym. And so we had explained last month, that's why we had kind of put that on hold right now while we look for other potential solutions. But again, today is just to kind of show you this information, to make you aware that we know the challenges that are out there and that we're trying to pay very close attention to all of those so that there's no surprises along the way. So if you have questions about this, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you. I appreciate this detailed and simplified explanation of everything.
So I will tell you this, we double checked, triple checked to try to make sure that nothing that we tell you today is inaccurate in any way. The last thing we would ever want to do is provide any information that was not accurate. So we believe everything that you're looking at is not only simplified, but it's accurate.
Anything else? Anybody? All right, item 3 is personnel changes.
So we have linked those for you. This is part of our process every month. We had 2 individuals who resigned, and we have replaced more than those 2. So that's always a good thing, coming in with more than we had late.
Thank you. Item 3 is reports. Item A is treasurer's report, which we've had opportunity to look over. Item B is bills as presented.
Those were linked today, and it's as current as we can possibly make them for you guys.
Which brings us to item 4, is our consent agenda, and it's not very lengthy unless any board member wants to pull anything out for any reason, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the consent agenda as it is printed.
I'd like to thank the donations, the anonymous donation received for Project Graduation.
And I will point out that you're being asked to approve both field trips for JAG at the national level and Odyssey of the Mind at the international level. So they've done all the steps that they need to make that happen.
And actually two donations for Project Graduation, sorry.
I'll make a motion to adopt the consent agenda.
Thank you. Dr. Lamb made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Hurt seconded. All in favor, let me know by lifted hand. All board members were in favor, so item, the consent agenda is adopted, which brings us to the action agenda. It's not very long, but item A is to approve a final site-based decision-making allocations for 25-26.
We'll ask you to approve these SBDM allocations. They're the exact same ones that we gave as draft back in January. So there have been no reductions. We could have made some reductions based on some numbers that have changed, but we have opted not to do that. Ms. Coffey had started working budget based on those numbers, so there was no reason for us to change. So we're happy to be able to keep them at that level. It would be my recommendation that you approve the final SBDM allocations for the 2025-26 school year.
Thank you, sir. You've heard the recommendation. Do I have a motion?
I move we approve the final SBDM allocations for 25-26.
Okay, Ms. Davis made the motion.
I'll second
Okay, Mr. Smith seconded. Any questions? All in favor, let me know by lifted hand. All board members were in favor. Item A is approved. Item B is to approve a contract with Patrick and Associates as auditor for 5 years.
We do auditors on a yearly basis. They come in. The last time we did this, you did a 5-year contract. We'd like to do that again if possible. It's $16,000 a year. And it's a requirement that we do it. We've had success with them. There are fewer and fewer auditors who are available to us. So we have confirmed that it's okay for us to use Patrick and Associates again. So it's my recommendation that you approve Patrick and Associates as your auditor for the 25-26 school year, but for a total of 5 years.
Thank you. You've heard the recommendation. Do I have a motion?
I move that we approve the contract with Patrick and Associates as auditor for the next 5 years.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Dr. Lamb second. Anybody have any questions? All in favor, let me know by lifted hand. All board members were in favor. Item B is approved. Item C is to approve surplus of senior Chromebooks.
Every year when we get to this point, we ask you to surplus the Chromebooks that our seniors are using. We don't take those back. We let them take them with them, and they can choose to do with them what they would like. So in order to do that, we need your approval to surplus these. So it's my recommendation that you approve the surplus of the senior Chromebooks.
Thank you, sir. You've heard the recommendation. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion to surplus the senior Chromebooks.
Okay, Mr. Smith made the motion. Do I have a second?
I second the motion.
Ms. Davis seconded. Any questions? All in favor, let me know by lifted hand. All board members were in favor. Item D is approved. Item C is approved, I'm sorry. And that's all of our action. So at this time, we need to move into executive session. Do I have a motion to move into executive session at this time?
I make a motion, we move into executive session.
Thank you, Mr. Hart made the motion. Do I have a second?
I second the motion.
Ms. Davis seconded. All in favor, let me know by lifted hand. All right, we're now in executive session. We're going to move to the next room. I don't know how long this is going to take. The last time we did this, I said it won't be very long.
He's going to tell you this is going to be really, really long.
Yeah, but maybe it'll be just off. executive session.
I'll make a motion to return.
Dr. Lamb made the motion to have a second.
Second.
Mr. Hurd seconded. All in favor, let it be known by lifted hand. Do I have a motion? No action needs to be taken,
No
so
actions.
do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion to adjourn this meeting.
Okay, Mr. Smith made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Hurd seconded. All in favor, let it be known by lifted hand. We are adjourned. Thank you all.